Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we are discussing a rarity among rarities. This is the handmade Rolex Oyster Perpetual Day-Date 118398 in yellow gold. The dial is diamond paved and made of sectioned jade. The bezel is gem set with an invisible setting, and the case, 36 millimeters in yellow gold, is traditionally sized. 36 in diameter, 12.3 millimeters thick. The watch measures 43.1 millimeters from lug to lug, and from end link to end link, the total distance across the wrist is 47.5 millimeters, with a 20 millimeter spacing between the lugs. How rare is this watch? Well, in the time I've been filming these videos, I've seen more Jade dial FP Journe tourbillon watches than Jade dial Rolex watches of every description. This is a rarity. That said, it has the classically gorgeous size and proportions of the original mid-50s Rolex Day-Date that debuted as a power watch for commanding types. Both presidents and presidents for life, the infamous kind, have lent this watch the nickname President. It is officially the Day-Date, but you can see why someone might find this watch presidential. The timepiece is low enough to fit underneath a cuff and small enough that it's unisex, suitable for men and for women. Now, the timepiece is a little bit different in that it uses an Oyster bracelet. Officially, there is a Rolex President bracelet, and it's a 3-link design. This is a 3-link design with bigger, sportier links. It's something you're more likely to see on an Oyster Perpetual, a GMT, an Explorer, a Sub, or a Daytona. So having the Oyster bracelet gives this watch a sportier aesthetic. It also gives it a little bit more solidity in the hand. You can see the outer flanks are polished, the center links are polished. There's a conforming end link to better integrate with the case. There's a little bit of taper down the links, and you can see that we have satinated shoulders with removable links fixed in place by screws. And then we have a clasp, which retains one of the most important features of a Rolex Day-Date bracelet, which is the crown clasp. So this is not an Oyster clasp. The only visible partition point between the two sides of the bracelet, that little crown, you unlatch and unlock it. This is not a friction fit system. There's a little beak and a hook, and when you unlatch, then it can open. You can see that the inner swing arms are thick gauge gold and fully polished, and you can also appreciate that we do have a half link built in for fine sizing. Now, Rolex has its own foundry. It makes its own cases, clasps, and bracelets. So all of that is in-house, but so too is the dial construction. Now, at Rolex, special stone dials and gem setting are done the old-fashioned way, by hand. Gem setting in particular is done exactly the way that a 19th century or 18th century jeweler would have recognized, using specialized tools and heat to achieve a diamond-paved inner dial and a diamond paved bezel. Now you can see the bezel uses what's called an invisible setting. There aren't little pincers or brackets holding each gem in place. There's an inner bezel and an outer bezel, but nothing otherwise. It's almost as though they slot it into place and they're locked into position. Now, gem setting is done by hand at Rolex, but they do use a laser-based optical scanner to grade the clarity and color of the individual gems. So you can see there is absolutely no gradient or variation from gem to gem. We have a screw down crown, a twin lock in gold, because the twin lock in gold has 2 dots. 100-meter water resistance. What really sets this watch apart isn't the gems, though they're gorgeous, or the fact that we have a sector dial made entirely of gold and diamonds. No, it's the sections in jade. Jade stone cut and placed, polished and finished by hand, gives this watch an irrepressible character, a jovial sort of air about it that's often lacking on dress watches. This is a fun watch to wear. The timepiece includes both day and date with a Cyclops eye magnifier, and you have a double quick set system. Let's just see if we're in the date change danger zone. Watchmakers tell me that even if you change a Rolex date around midnight, it's tough enough not to be damaged, but I don't take the risk. We have here a double quickset system. How much do you love these serifs on the font that Rolex uses? You can double quickset both the day and the date. Of course, the Rolex caliber 3155 has a hacking seconds function. And the watch has other features, such as a COSC chronometer certification. Rolex then goes and tests the chronometer certified movement as a fully K-step watch so that it runs no worse than -2 + 2 seconds per 24 hours. And that is the basis for Rolex's modern terminology, superlative chronometer. But you'll note, none of that advertising is on the dial. One of the fringe benefits of this fantastically handcrafted jade, diamond, and gold dial is that it doesn't say officially certified Oyster Perpetual, yada, yada, yada. We have the day, the date, Rolex, and we have nothing more. Inside the case, we've got a bidirectional winding movement with a 48-hour power reserve, a 4 Hz beat rate, 31 joules, double quickset hacking, chronometer certified, and shock resistant thanks to a full balance bridge and a free sprung balance. The watch also features a overcoil hairspring made by hand that allows the watch to keep even time in every physical position with respect to gravity. And that hairspring is made of a blue oxidized niobium zirconium Rolex calls Powerchrome Blue. It is highly anti-magnetic. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.